going on, guys? All right, so back for another one, and finally gonna start on a few more performance modifications on the Raptor. So today we are working with some new dump pipes. So these dump pipes are from Dynomotive. Done quite a good job. So they're redback 100 cell cats, which once you see the standard cats setup that is in this, there's going to be a drastic weight drop. So what I do want to do before I actually do put these on is do a bit of a sound comparison. So probably just driving away and those sorts of things. But one cool thing about the Dynomotive setup, these have a funny, it's almost like a V-band style clamp, I guess you would say, that seems to be a Ford only thing. But Dynomotive have managed to basically copy it, making these a true bolt-on dump pipe. And come with oxygen sensor adapters, so it should be a bolt-in affair, and away we go. And yeah, like I said, really hoping to get a sound test so you guys can actually hear the difference. This Raptor does already have an exhaust, small exhaust already done to it, so it is going to sound a little bit different to your normal Raptor. I will try to do a decibel test as well, because I have heard that these dump pipes, or dump pipes in general, once you get rid of the massive catalytic converters that these do have, they do become a fair bit louder, and these are pretty loud from standard. So let's hook in. So I don't know how good of a test that would have been, going quite slow. But what I will throw in is a video that I did a little while ago when I was just testing some exhaust bits for Reaper performance. And I got a few good rev and driving clips from behind the car, I guess you'd say. This is a different rear section. So this is back into the standard rear section that wraps around the 35 with the 2-into-1 single exit that I had that you'll see on the video. I couldn't fit the spare in with that, so there may be a little bit of a sound difference, but probably not massive. But this is more, well, now I'm going to throw a decibel meter app just on another phone that I've got here, see what it comes out at, revving to, I'll rev it to 3 grand, and I guess probably not going to be as accurate as a proper decibel tester, but at least it'll be able to give us a percentage difference of how much louder the 100 cell cats are compared to standard. So going off what the other phone told me, we had an average of 76.2 decibels, and then we had a max of 94.2. So I think that 94.2 was on the rev up to the 4,000 RPM limit in neutral. So it'll be a good indication. That seems a lot louder than what it actually is. But it could be correct. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll go off that, see how much louder it gets once we've got these bad boys in there. So now we've got it up on the hoist. I can show you guys the rear tailpipe setup. So this is just a standard tailpipe. They usually go out to about here. I just got Reaper Performance to lob off the two mufflers that you've got at the back here, and then just put a small dump on there. And as you would have seen in the video that I put just before, when I had the 3.5, the 2 into 3.5 single, it popped out just here in that spot, but yeah, it just sat a bit closer to the tire. So going further down the exhaust, so this is the other beautiful Reaper Performance bit that has now been well worn in. So this part here is to equalize the length difference from this dump to this dump. As you can see, there's a big crossover pipe. So that makes this part of the exhaust a lot longer than this side. So the idea of that loop there is to equalize the exhaust. So it's given us a lot deeper tone down low. I think once we sort of really start getting up into the higher rev range, it does pretty much just revert back to what it did sound like. But yeah, I would like to put a bit of a different muffler in here, but that's a future item to be addressed. We've got to get these dump pipes in, and then I've got a few more things coming up for this car, performance-wise. So exhaust might be one of those later on things. So this bit here is that forward style V-band clamp I was talking about. It is definitely a different style. So I think we'll start on the driver's side first. We'll get this bad boy undone. As you can see, these things are absolutely massive. Far out. May need someone a bit stronger than me. Alrighty, so we've got this one loose. We have this V-beam loose, which was actually a real pain in the ass and still is being a bit of a pain in the ass. It is very stuck. I'd say there'd be a fair bit of mud and God knows what else under there from all the fun I've been having. All right, we'll tackle the top. So to get to the back of the turbos, as far as I've been told, best way to go through is here, because there is the turbo just there. So I will crank off all these teeny tiny little bolts, and hopefully that is going to get us where we need to be. So once you've removed all of the plastic screws, the 7 mils just down here, there is a 10 mil bolt or 10 mil nut. Once that comes off, we are good. There we go. Look at the size of these cats, man. These are massive. So I think these bad boys, they weren't lying about making it a lot louder. So obviously, as you can see, getting rid of that, we now have direct access to the rear housing. Crazy how small these turbos are too. So it looks like the second bolt on the back of the rear housing and dump is going to be quite fun to get to. Even check out the, I guess you'd say the flange to the head, because there's no exhaust manifold on these. These run straight out of the head. The actual exhaust manifold is inside the head. So, very interesting design of the flange. There's so much room once these pipes are deleted for a little bit of a big turbiner upgrade. Okay, that is one side removed. 2 oxygen sensors that I still need to unplug. Alrighty, so first side off. This is passenger side. Alright, that is that one out. So just need to unplug those 2 sensors and put those into the new dump pipe. But there's a comparison against the standard downpipe and the new 100 cell. If you have a look, if that will focus, that is some serious thickness in there, especially when you compare it to what 100 cell looks like. So I think definitely, well, A, we'll be saving some weight. I think it's not far off being double the weight. So not that the weight saving is going to be absolutely game changing, but still better than nothing. But I think from there to there of straight cat, it is definitely going to be loud. So just to show you guys how small this turbo is, I reckon that turbine side has to be in the low 30s at least. From what I've seen of companies over in the US doing on the Explorer, they've been going like a 42 or 43 mil compressor side. Off the top of my head, I can't actually remember too much of what they're doing to turbine side, but I would love, I think there's some adequate space there to do a crossover. So on the passenger side dump, going off the photos that I saw, first sensor will go into this adapter, and then this adapter, you'll get the brass crush washer as well, and this will be lower one, and I'm guessing we've got it this way to face up, just because it could be a little bit more round in that one spot. Rocky. All right, so I have that all nipped up, ready to go back in. So we'll quickly unplug this other sensor and get this dump pipe back up in there. So one other cool thing about this dump pipe is they've got like this angled piece off the back of the turbine housing. It almost acts like a V-band, so there's no exhaust gasket there, which is pretty cool. All right, so I've just got that sitting back in there. This is the little funny Ford designed V-band that Dynomotive have pretty much adapted. Now this is obviously without the V-band clamp, but that lines up super nice. How good is that? Almost like factory fit. Beautiful. All right, next bit. Alrighty, so we have the driver's side guard off. Now this is going to be an absolute royal pain, this driving steering shaft. So I've got one bolt here, and then I'm guessing equal length on the other side. So with all of these units in the way, this is going to be a little mission. If there's anything that I have learned about working on lifted four-wheel drives, you need to be over 6 foot tall. Now, I'm definitely on the shorter end of the spectrum in the height category, and this is an absolute pain in the ass trying to get into the engine bay of a lifted four-wheel drive. Yes. There's nothing better than those absolute pain in the ass bolts that are in the worst spot ever that just come way easier than expected. Looking at this, I thought it was going to be absolute struggle city, but we've actually got it off in a reasonable amount of time. So there we go. Let's lift it back up. Now, I don't know if it's because I've already done one of these dumps now, or except for this one bolt, that seemed a lot easier. So there is the second dump. And as you can see on this one, we've actually got like a 2-bolt flange. Now in the kit from Dynomotive, we get some new bolts and nuts, which is killer. So apart from the exhaust gasket, it looks like nothing else needs to be reused. And here is the new one. It is crazy how much skinnier these are. So we've got bolts in, adapter ready. So this bad boy is pretty much ready to get bolted back up. I've unplugged and put all the sensors back in. If this one will reach. So that one's all tightened back up. And I think, judging by this angle, I may be able to get the nut back on from down here. Sweet. All that is back up on. Now let's get the exhaust hooked up. So with this one, with this sensor adapter, you just have to make sure it's facing either over to the gearbox or, you know, down in this angle, because it will touch on that heat shield over there. So I'm going to move this up and over so we aren't touching the dump pipe, so we don't have anything melting, and then we should be good to go. Alrighty, so driver's side sensors, all bolts up tight. Now I just need to plug in this bad boy, put everything back in. Put everything back in. All of the guard liner. Do up these bolts. Just do a double, triple check of everything. And then start-up time. And I cannot wait. And I'm fingers crossed and praying that it doesn't sound absolutely horrible. It is dark now, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to set the camera up here, get a sound clip, and then we'll throw the decibel reader on it. That is very loud. Cold start does not sound very nice whatsoever, and it is very loud, very loud. So I'll let it get a bit of warmth in it, and then we'll give it a few revs, and hopefully it sounds a bit better with some revs. So a quick check underneath. This hole, which is just a drain hole, definitely leaks a fair chunk. So we look to be all good. No leaks. No visible leaks. Killer. Alrighty, so I have the Decibel app set up on the iPhone. So what I'll do, you can hear you now, it's pretty warm. I will give it a few revs in quiet, and then I'll put it in normal. I'll rev it up to 4,000, or let's say 3,000. I'll put it in Baja and I'll rev that up to 3,000. Alrighty, so going off what the app says, 107.5 was the max. So as you can see, 107.5. So it's definitely increased almost a hollowness sound. It sounds a lot more hollow. Raspiness, I think it's going to be quite raspy once we actually get up into the rev range. I won't do a drive-away sound comparison today. I'll probably do it tomorrow. But what I will do, I'll head home now and I'll get some in-car sound footage and see how that sounds. I'm anticipating deafening. So just put the dump pipes in. This is quiet mode. Still a fair bit more noise than there was before. And then this is wide open throttle Baja mode.